All right, we're going to continue with our media availabilities here at Michigan International Speedway, this time in advance of tomorrow's NASCAR Camping World Truck Series LTI Printing 200. We are joined by 3 drivers who will be competing in that race. Chase Briscoe, driver of the number 29 Cooper Standard Ford, Austin Cindric, driver of the number 19 Draw Tight Reese Brands Ford, and Ben Rhodes, driver of the number 27 Safeway Auto Glass Toyota. We'll just start with you guys in alphabetical order down there with Chase. Why don't you guys just talk about coming here to Michigan and what you're looking for tomorrow?
Yeah, for us, it's a huge race to come here to Michigan, just with the Ford background and the Cooper Standard background. Our 2 biggest supporters, this is their backyard. So to come to Michigan is certainly a big deal. We've been up here since Wednesday getting Ford F-150 plant tours and participating in Ford Driver Days. So if we could come out of here with a win in their backyard, it would certainly be a big deal.
Austin?
Yeah, just to reiterate what Chase said, this is the biggest race of the year for BKR. I mean, every one of our key partners is based out of the Michigan area. I mean, LTI Printing, one of the big supporters of the 19 truck, is the title sponsor of the race. Obviously, Draw Tight, I spent some time over there at their headquarters yesterday, and no, like Chase said, it'd be huge if one, if not 2, these BKR trucks could finish up front.
And Ben?
Yeah, this is a big teamwork track, with the drafting and the truck series. It kind of reminds me of a Talladega or Daytona almost, the way that you have to work together. So having 3 teammates the way I do, I think it's going to be a big plus for me. But as big of a race as it is for the Ford guys, I would say it's just as equally as big for the Toyotas because we want to beat them in their backyard.
All right, we'll open up to questions for our panel. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic. We'll start back there with Wolfgang.
I have a question for Austin Cindric. Without any doubt, the truck championship, NASCAR truck championship, has priority. Nevertheless, I think 2 or 3 years ago, you were also seen in GT racing. Do you have also some spare time to do some other races outside the NASCAR world?
Yeah, so I've been doing the IMSA endurance races as well this year. So in conjunction with my full season trucks, my next time in a sports car will be at the Petit Le Mans, running with 3GT Racing in GTD class. But like I said before, this is my focus. But everybody knows me. I'm looking for every race car to get in every weekend. But this weekend here in Michigan.
Yeah, Mike Bryson from Auto Week. Chase, specifically, we saw William Byron get a promotion this last week or so. You guys are the young wave, the next wave here. How do you know when you're ready for the next group? I mean, the next level. Chase, you're kind of on the fast track as are Austin and Ben, but specifically, how do you know when you're ready?
I think if you're consistently running up front, I feel like that's one thing, and obviously wins are a big deal, but at the same time you have to be in position to win. I feel like a majority of the time to know that you are ready. Obviously haven't won yet this year, but we've been up front a lot. But I think as a driver, I don't know if there's any certain one moment that kind of makes you know that but I think down deep you do know when you are ready to go to that next level. I don't know if there's one certain key point that makes you know that, but I think down deep every driver knows when they are ready. And obviously Williams done a heck of a job, and he has won in everything he's gotten in, and that's one thing you got to do if you're winning at the level you're at. Obviously I feel like you're ready for the next level, but you can win one race and then be running 15th every other week, and I don't think you're ready. I think you got to consistently be up front.
Go to Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net, PRN over here. For any or all of y'all, back on the William Byron comment, there is a school of thought that maybe his career is fast-tracked too fast. Would any of you guys turn that down? If you had that, would you take the risk of holding back, or would you rather be on a fast track?
No, I think you go as soon as you get the opportunity. If it's an opportunity that can win, I've always had the mentality as you're only as good as your last race, or at least people only talk about your last race. So obviously with him winning Indy, and he's been winning, if he goes next year and doesn't perform in the Xfinity deal, then his stock goes down, in my opinion. So if you can get an opportunity where you can go win races, I think you got to take it. That's my outlook on everything, and that's how I've always thought about it.
Good.
Robbie Mays, MRN. We're here this weekend in Michigan. Wednesday night we go to Bristol. Your thoughts about all 3 of you heading to Bristol on Wednesday night? And first of all, is racing on a Wednesday night? It's the second time this year. Is that how do you adjust your schedule for that stuff?
Yeah, obviously it's a quick turnaround for the team. So, I mean, our Bristol trucks are already ready to be loaded up on the haulers. Just wait for the haulers to get back from Michigan. I'm really excited. I mean, my team, BKR truck qualified on pole there last year, and I feel like there's a lot of variables heading into that race with the sealer they're going to put on the racetrack and different lines you can run or may or not be able to run. And it's a fun racetrack. It's obviously a big change from going to super speedway here, and I think it kind of plays into our wheelhouse where you have to focus on a lot of the handling characteristics of the truck. But I'm excited. I'm excited to go back short track racing. I think it's going to be a good race for us.
Chris?
ChrisKnightCatchfence.com. Austin, you're on the strength of going for 5 top 10s in a row here this weekend at Michigan. I was just wondering what you can contribute to your recent success to, and are you getting more comfortable in trucks and feel like that you're making a hard charge tour playoff push?
Yeah, I feel really excited about these next few races because honestly, the last handful of races, last handful of events, I feel like we've really optimized the situation that we're in, whether if it's the speed that our vehicle has or the setup. I feel like Doug and I have done an awesome job of working together and understanding what each of us needs from each other. Obviously, that comes with time, and that's something you always talk about at the beginning of the season, how you and your crew chief are going to work well together. But I feel like the more and more runs we get, I mean, take Pocono for an example. We have a blown tire in first practice and have to go to the backup, don't get a lap on the backup, and put a bunch of adjustability in the truck, and we end up finishing 7th in a truck that's never turned a lap and is several generations older than what we've been running before. So I feel like we have more races like that. We're going to be running up front, and we're going to win races.
Do you guys feel like as the playoffs approach that it's time to get dirty? If you have to, like, especially at Bristol?
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, if you're going for a win and you need a win to get in the playoffs, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I feel like everybody feels that way. I don't feel like if I was running first and these two guys were right behind me, I don't feel like they would give me slack. So, and I feel like it'd be the same way. So, I think the playoffs make it incredibly important to win races in the position that I'm in, and probably the position that Ben's in as well. Like a win's going to solidify our championship or our hopes at a championship, whereas I'm 50 or 60 back, and I can maybe make it on points, but a win makes things a lot easier for my team.
Yeah, you know, I put kind of pressure on myself in the past, like trying to get wins, and turned out the harder I raced or the harder I tried to run, the worse I would do. Actually, I went into Pocono with probably the most relaxed mindset I've ever had. I actually told myself I'm not going to try this week, and we ended up getting a pole and finished second. So I can just second place myself to a championship if I can just keep doing that. So I'm not too worried about the win. You know, I know it'll come. I'm just not going to push myself and try to make the opportunity happen. I'm going to wait for it to come to me.
Up front to Lee.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. For Chase, you know, speaking of getting dirty, what was your biggest transition learning how to go from dirt to pavement in NASCAR? Obviously, you had ARCA seat time, but NASCAR is kind of a whole different animal.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is on the dirt track, you know, if you have a 10th place car, you can make up for it and maybe get to third or whatnot. And at least in the NASCAR stuff, I've come to realize that, you know, there might be only a 30 or 40% of the races where you have a truck that's capable of winning, and you have to take advantage of every single one of those races. And there might be days where you just don't have the truck to battle for a win, and you just have to deal with that and try to make the most of it and, you know, salvage a 6th or 7th place finish. But that's been the hardest part, is just knowing that, you know, there's some days that might just not be your day. And then the biggest thing is just the distance of the races. Obviously, sprint car stuff's only 25 laps, and we come here and it's 200 miles. So there's a lot more mistakes to be made, and you just have to limit those mistakes.
Go back to Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTires.net and PRN. Ben, you threw some bait out there a while ago. I'm going to bite. You talk about beating these guys in their backyard, the Fords and the Chevys. What would that mean? How do y'all plan for that? Or is it really just another race, or do you really say, hey, this is MIS, we've got to come in here and beat these guys?
No, I think you know, there's as much weight to this race as any of the others, but that's like an added, you know, like an added bonus to your manufacturer's highs at least. And I know, you know, the Toyota guys, they're all about that stuff. They're so competitive. They put so much into the sport, and I've spent so much time with them that, you know, that would I know it would mean a lot to them. And as a young guy that's trying to make his name in the sport, I think that would hopefully give me some brownie points, you know. So especially if I can, you know, be on my A game during interviews and be like, yeah, guys, we just beat them in their backyard, all this stuff. They would love that. And, you know, I want to try to do the best I can to make them happy.
Do we have any final questions for our panel? All right, gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.